All right, well, we'll get things going and hopefully we've got some more friends jumping on here a few minutes late. But thank you guys to everyone who's joined today for our final session in our Traveling Gamecocks webinar series. Today, we're going to chat all about Premier World Discovery, one of our travel partners, and our trips coming up with them in 2024 and in 2025. My name's Haven Quinlan. I work at the USC Alumni Association, and I have the great pleasure of working with our travelers and our travel partners. And so I get to introduce Laura today to y'all. But before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things. I'm sure you've noticed we're in a webinar format on Zoom. So while you won't be able to unmute yourself to ask questions, we do want this to be interactive. So if you're not super familiar with Zoom, there should be a panel across the bottom of your screen with a chat and with a Q&A. So any questions you guys have at any time throughout the presentation, please feel free to pop those into one of those two options. And then we'll make sure to address all your questions at the end of Laura's presentation. And then make sure you stay till the end. That's when we'll do our drawing for some certificates for some savings on your trips with Premier. But now that that's all out of the way, I'm going to send things over to Laura. Thank you, Laura, for joining us today. We can't wait to hear all about our 2024 and 25 trips with Premier World Discovery.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad I can't see everybody, but I'm glad to talk to you today. So I'm going to share my screen and get started. We have a lot to go over. So I will get started. All right. So this is just a little bit about my company. We were established in 1999. We are based in California. I live in Florence, South Carolina, so I'm in Columbia's backyard. Go Cox. I just went to the big baseball fundraiser they had. Was that Saturday night? Yes, in Columbia. So that was a lot of fun. But anyway, we specialize in group travel for active senior adults. And why am I not moving? Haven, I just practiced. Okay, there we go. Never mind. It's about holding your mouth right. Okay, so Premier World Discovery, as I said, we are in our 24th year. We carry all the important insurance information, but I won't go over all of that. So we do alumni-only travel dates. We do other affinities as well, but there are a lot of other universities that might be on the trip with you, which really makes it a lot of fun. There's also an inside person. So like any of my accounts, we have Antoinette or Melissa in the office. So you could specifically ask for the office and they have inclusive travel experiences. This is all the important information. The first one I wanted to go over was the California Rail Discovery. You may have gotten a flyer in the mail already from us about this, but it does depart on May the 1st. It's a 7-day tour. We fly into the San Francisco area and home from Sacramento. This is our itinerary map. All right. And then we do 2 nights in San Francisco, 1 night in Sacramento, and then 3 nights in Lake Tahoe. A lot of California trips don't take you to Lake Tahoe, but it's really fun to do. And you get to do the train ride through the Sierra Nevada mountains. So 9 meals are included, 6 breakfasts, 3 dinners. This is the Hotel Zephyr, and you can see it's right downtown San Francisco, or we'll be at the Westin St. Francis Union Square. So all of our hotels are either resorts or they're right downtown in the middle of things. So it makes it really convenient. We'll do a welcome dinner the first night. Day 2, we'll do a San Francisco city tour. I like to always tell people a city tour doesn't mean that we're just on the motor coach looking out the window taking pictures. You're getting off, you're able to visit different places. So, but if you're not a big walker and you need to stay close to the bus, you can do that as well. So one of the places we'll stop is the San Francisco Civic Center or the City Hall. We'll get to view Chinatown, which is the largest Chinatown in the U.S. We'll visit Union Square. If you know anything about Union Square, it used to be a giant sand hill like a sand dune almost, and they knew that they needed to get rid of that, so they cleared it out and made it Union Square. We'll also make a stop at Golden Gate Park, which is breathtaking. There are all kinds of Oriental buildings there, beautiful flowers, lots of fountains and lakes. It's a beautiful park. Day 2, we'll also go to Pier 39, which is where all the delicious seafood is. You can see sea lions and seals all on the waterfront. This is just a picture of Seal Rock. All those little dots you see are seals. So Day 2, we'll also do the San Francisco Bay Cruise. It's really awesome. You get to go under the Golden Gate Bridge. You also will be going around Alcatraz. I like to share your trivia for tonight on Jeopardy. So Alcatraz was the only federal prison that had hot running water. And that was because they hoped that kept them from trying to escape from the dreadful conditions that they had in Alcatraz. But that's your little Jeopardy trivia for tonight. All right, this is just pictures from the Bay Cruise. It's a lovely cruise. As I said, you'll go under the Golden Gate Bridge. You'll learn all about why it's called the Golden Gate Bridge and it's not golden, and why it is the color that it is. All right, Day 2, we'll also go to Muir Woods. And so this is, of course, a national park, and it has the beautiful, huge redwood trees. You can see, I like this picture because it basically shows you the path and how easy it is to walk through the woods. All right. And then we also offer some leisure time. Sometimes we offer optional excursions on the Premier World Discovery Tours. Not all of them have them. Most things are inclusive. One of the things I love about Premier, and I used to be a group leader, so I've done lots of different companies, but if we have an optional excursion, you don't have to pay for that optional excursion until you're on the trip itself. So say you've had a bad flight, or you caught a little cold and you just feel like you need to stay at your hotel room, or there's a restaurant in San Francisco you really wanted to see, then you don't have to sign up for that optional excursion until you're on the trip. So all of our tours are fully guided. This shows you a trolley ride right here, a streetcar. And so, if you wanted to ride the streetcar while you had some time at leisure, you could do that. You can also visit, I love this. This is the Full House houses, but you could see all of this. And of course, you could certainly go down to Fisherman's Wharf. Your tour director would be able to tell you the easiest way to get there, the best place to get fresh seafood and delicious clam chowder, which you want to be sure you have while you're in San Francisco. All right. You can also schedule a time to go to Alcatraz, or maybe you want to do Lombard Street, which is another Jeopardy trivia. That's the curviest road in the U.S. Fortunately, your motor coach will not be carrying you down Lombard Street, so you're good to go. You might want to do that on your own. This is Embarcadero, which is the ferry building. It's really interesting. It has great history. And then this is Ghirardelli Square. That doesn't need any explanation, so we'll move on. All right, Day 3, we'll travel to Napa Valley and Sacramento. So Napa Valley, and their slogan is where the wine is like bottled poetry. So you will get to see lots of different vineyards while you're in Napa Valley. They are beautiful. You're going to learn the history about how they used to grow lettuce. And then all of a sudden, one family thought, let's try something different. We love wine. So that's sort of how it got started, but you'll learn all of that. We will have a wine tasting, which we could not go to Napa Valley without having, at the oldest vineyard in the area. It's a great tour, but it's also a lot of great wine. All right, and then we'll arrive in Sacramento, which is the capital of California. They call it the Lettuce Bowl capital. And then we'll visit Old Town Sacramento, which is where a lot of the silver miners came and stayed. Okay, and then you'll learn the wonderful story about the Waterfront Tower Bridge and how it connects the two places. We used to do the Napa Valley train ride. After COVID, they no longer allow groups to book time at all on the Napa Valley train ride. So you really can't go to California without learning about the trains. So this is the California State Railroad Museum. It is very fascinating. If you have anybody in your family that's ever been in the railroad business, like my father and my grandfather both were, then you love trains. My daddy collected trains as an adult. So this is a great museum. You will love that. So we'll spend one night in Sacramento at the Hyatt Regency or the Embassy Suites. All right. And then day 4, we will board the Sierra Nevada rail journey. This is considered one of the most beautiful rail journeys in the U.S. You're going through the Sierra Nevada mountains. They do have rail cars that are glass domes, and you could just sit anywhere. You have a seat on the train, so you're not going to be fighting, but it's great to be able to go and move around the train. We will then arrive in Truckee, and we will then from the Truckee, that's where the motor coach will meet us, and we'll go to South Lake Tahoe. So this is, a beautiful man-made lake. You can see how beautiful it is. And we'll either be staying at the Lake Tahoe Resort Hotel for 3 nights or Harrah's Lake Tahoe State Line. If you know about Lake Tahoe, it's Nevada, California. And so gambling is legal in one of those states and not in the other one. So you can see it's called State Line. You can learn some of that history. This is Harvey's Lake Tahoe. All right. And then we will travel to Carson City and then on to Reno. So Reno is called the biggest little city in the world, has a lot going on. It's a very fun city. And we will, of course, go to the National Automobile Museum, which is Mr. Harris. And I believe there are over 1,000 cars there. So it's really a fun museum, even for those of us who are not automobile enthusiasts. It's really neat. All right, and then we'll travel to Virginia City, Nevada, which was one of the most active silver and gold mining cities. I think they have like a population of 94 people now, but you'll learn a lot. So this is the Comstock lode, which was discovered in 1859. It is one of the mining tools that they used. And then we get to get aboard the Lake Tahoe paddle wheeler cruise. So this Miss Dixie too will take us around Lake Tahoe. You'll learn the history about Lake Tahoe. You'll see, different animals and things of that sort. All right, it's a beautiful lake. This is Emerald Bay. You'll get to pass the Nordic style mansion Vikingsham, which was built in 1929 by a female. You'll learn that history has that said a lot in the 20s when a female owned a house like that. All right, and then we will have time for leisure in Lake Tahoe. There's a lot to do. Lake Tahoe is a skiing town, so you can take some of the cable cars if that's what you want to do. And then we'll have a farewell dinner, return home. This is everything that's included. It is on your flyer, so I don't normally spend a lot of time. At Premier World Discovery, we do include round-trip airfare in the pricing. If you are one of those people that has a lot of air miles, or you like to book your own flight, you want to go early, anything like that, then we can also tell you what the land-only rate is. All right, our average temperature in San Francisco in May is 64. Sacramento is in the 80s. Lake Tahoe is in 61. Our date of departure is May the 1st through the 7th. Your booking discount of $39.25 means that you made your final payment by check to Premier World Discovery. We give you $100 off per person for that. If you're going as a single, you'll add $125. All right, we're on to Cape Cod, which is July 13th of 2024. We'll fly into Boston and home from Boston. One of the neat things about this trip is it is almost a one hotel stay. I'll show you that in just a minute. But we'll fly into Boston. We'll be doing Massachusetts and Rhode Island, so you can check those 2 states off. So we'll spend one night in Boston. We'll do the Boston City tour, and then we'll go out to the Cape and we'll spend 5 nights in one hotel on the Cape. 9 meals are included, 6 breakfasts, 3 dinners. We'll arrive in Boston that has a population of over 4 million people. As I said before, all of our tours are fully guided. And so what our tour directors do is if you are on a domestic trip, then they meet you at the luggage carousel. They have your air schedule and all of that, so they know when you should arrive, if you're running late, anything like that. If you're on an international tour with us, then they meet you outside of customs. All right, so we'll either be staying at the Hilton in Boston or the Marriott in Boston. All right, and we'll do the Boston City tour. So we'll make stops along the way. This is like downtown Boston. Here's the wharf area. You'll have time to walk there if you want to. And then, of course, we'll have to go to Boston Common because you don't want to go to Boston and not visit the oldest U.S. park in America. It was founded in 1634. Pretty awesome. It is in the middle of town. It's just a beautiful area. We'll make a stop at the Massachusetts State House, which opened in 1798 at a cost of $133,000, which is very funny, but it was 5 times over the budget of what they expected to spend. So it has been enlarged numerous times, but it has a great architect. So we'll stop at the Old North Church, which is most commonly known as, Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. We'll see the Old South Meeting House, and then we'll go to Beacon Hills. So this is Acorn Street. Once again, your motor coach will not be traveling down Acorn Street. You can see it's small. It was built in the 1820s. It is considered one of the most prominent and richest neighborhoods in all of the U.S. So you'll learn about all of that area. We'll make a stop at the U.S. Constitution, or Old Ironsides, as most of us call her, and she was the world's oldest commissioned naval ship that is still afloat. Then we'll go to Faneuil Hall, which is basically where the Boston Massacre, the Tea Party, the Stamp Act, all of that were planned back in the day. So a lot of important British meetings were held here. Now it is a beautiful renovated building with, it's almost like a farmer's market, and there's restaurants in there. So this is probably where you would stop to have lunch. Then we're on to Plymouth Plantation, which is an exact replica of how the plantations used to look. You'll see a lot of reenactments. They'll be shooting off the musket guns, and you'll see them cooking food and things like that. Of course, you can't go up there without seeing Plymouth Rock. And so there's your official 1620 stamped on Plymouth Rock. And then you'll see the replica of the Mayflower. I was in Georgetown one time a couple of years ago, right after they finished building this. And as the Mayflower 2 was coming up the coast, it came into Georgetown Harbor. So I got to see it. It was pretty awesome before it made its way to Boston. All right, now we're going to be heading out to the Cape. I like this map because it does show you a lot of the areas that we'll be going to. So these are just some pictures. You can see all of that. So the hotels, and I just like to take a minute to talk about that. The hotels on the Cape are built to go into the environment. So you're not going to have tall, high-rise hotels at all, but this is the DoubleTree. This is one of the local hotels that's been renovated. This is the Blue Water Resort. You can see how pretty they are. They're just not going to be that fancy. They're renovated. They're very nice, but they're just not going to be fancy smancy hotels. So we're going to have a welcome dinner with our fellow travelers, and then we're going to head to Martha's Vineyard. So this is just a lovely picture of Martha's Vineyard. This is the ferry you'll be taking from the mainland to the vineyard. All right, some lovely pictures. These are the Oak Bluff Victorian houses. I think in 2020, this one on the end sold for like $495,000, and it might be maybe 600 square feet. So while you're there, if you feel like purchasing one, you might be able to do that. All right, then we're on to Edgartown. This is a great picture of Edgartown. You can see how pretty it is. I like to show this because if you think you've seen this picture before, this is a picture from Jaws. This is where Jaws was filmed, in Edgartown. All right, and it was the first colonial settlement in 1642. There are a lot of whaling captains lived here, so they have beautiful homes that are still standing. This is one of them right here. So you're going to get to see a lot of the wealthier homes that the whaling captains owned. All right, lots of lighthouses we'll get to see, and then we will go to Cape Cod National Seashore. So this is over, I believe, 3,000 acres of a national park. There are 800 species of plants that live here. All right, and 450 species of animals. So there's amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. This is a great picture. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm way off. It's 44,000 acres of a national seashore. All right, this is the Cape Cod Lighthouse. This is what most people call the Lighthouse of Cape Cod. It does have several other names, but it was built in 1797. It still does work. It's automated, so they don't need the lighthouse keeper anymore. And then we're on to Providence Town, which is a beautiful town full of art galleries, charming guest houses, lots of boutique shops and things like that. And you can see how colorful the shops are here. Then this is one of the favorite parts about this tour. People love going to the cranberry bog. It's really fun to learn about the cranberry bog and how the Cape is so conducive to growing cranberries. You'll actually be at a real family farm. They'll be standing out, with their waders on. It looks like the cranberry juice commercial on TV, but you'll learn all about the cranberries. Okay, and then we're headed to Newport, Rhode Island. You can see Newport is very wealthy. It's known as the New England Summer Resort, has lots of mansion as well. Lots of sailors go here. It only has about 25,000 residents during the regular year, but a lot of tourism. All right, this is the Castle Hill Lighthouse. This used to have a lightkeeper's house, but you can see that it sits right on the rock. And so it did survive. The lighthouse survived the 1938 hurricane. It has saved a lot of ships. It is still working, but it sits right on the edge of the rocks. This is downtown Newport. So you'll get to visit this. And then this is the Touro Synagogue. So this is the oldest synagogue in the U.S. It was really amazing when it was built. Basically, they invited anybody that of religious freedom to worship here. You didn't have to be Jewish descent or anything like that to worship at the Touro Synagogue. They welcomed everybody. So if you needed to have a Baptist meeting here, you could do that. All right, we do go to the International Tennis Hall of Fame. You'll learn about that and why it's so important in the area. And then we get to go to Bellevue Avenue. So this is the exclusive residential area that has all the mansions in it. And so the Vanderbilts, the Astors, all of those built homes on Bellevue Avenue. And we get to go into what I call the Vanderbilt second mansion. The Biltmore is the first one. This is the second one. It's on 13 acres. It only has 70 rooms, 48 bedrooms, and 27 fireplaces. It did have electricity, which was really, upper class for back then. And so we get to tour all of that. We'll do the scenic 10-mile drive, which is famous. And so this is where you'll see all the other mansions as well. All right, and then we're on to Nantucket. So this is a great map of Nantucket. And you can see this is the Island Harbor, the boat basin, and then we'll see a lot of lighthouses along our way. Okay, and then this is the historic cobblestone streets that you'll be able to visit, lots of fun shops. And you can't go to Nantucket without going to the Whaling Museum. This is really where all the people made their money back in the day. Of course, you cannot do any whale fishing now, but this is a great museum. And you can go up on top and look out over the water. It's a beautiful museum. And of course, you can't go to the Cape without having a lobster dinner. So we'll have a lobster dinner. And I always like to say, don't worry if you can't eat seafood or you don't like it, they have other things to eat as well. We'll return home. This is everything that's included. This is on your flyer. And your average temperature in July would be 79 on the Cape and 82 in Boston. Of course, you could think about Columbia or Florence where I live. It's going to feel like 110 at that point in July. All right, so we depart on July the 13th. Our booking discount is $36.75. If you're going as a single, we'll add $10.25 to that rate. All right, we're going on. Excuse me while I have a drink of water. So this is actually a very special trip. we added this. I was actually at a South Carolina football game when they made the big announcement that the USC band Sound of the South was going to be playing at the Macy's Day Parade in 2024. So I got with Haven and we added this trip. You all will be the only ones in the US that are offering this trip. So this will be New York City and Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. So this will be a fully guided tour. You won't have to worry about where do I go in New York City, especially at Christmas time. We'll fly into New York City and home, and then this is just your itinerary map. So this includes 7 meals. We'll have 4 breakfasts and 3 dinners. All right, here we go. So this is, we'll have 4 nights in one hotel. It will be at the Western New York at Times Square. It's a lovely hotel. It's beautiful. Here's some of the pictures. You can see down in the left-hand corner how they have a gingerbread decorating scene here. So you'll love your location. So welcome to New York City. I like to say where, believe it or not, blowing your horn is illegal in the city. They forgot to tell taxi cab drivers that, but that is a little fun trivia there. So, you know, it's also called the Big Apple. It has a lot of nicknames, but it's a beautiful city. If you've never been to New York, and if you get to go at Christmas when it's decorated like you're going to for this trip, you will just come back in awe. All right, so this is Manhattan. Manhattan actually, as they like to say, Walt Disney World is bigger than this area right here, but you can see it's right on the water. Okay. We'll make a stop at Greenwich Village, which used to be sort of a rundown area. It is now one of the fancy places to live. Everybody wants to live in Greenwich Village. They have a lot of restored old homes. We'll visit Chinatown. I do like to talk about Chinatown because I used to take a lot of groups here, and you know, everybody wanted to get off and go buy a fake pocketbook and all of that kind of stuff. In the last 15 years, probably, they have instructed tour directors not to take people shopping for fake leather goods in Chinatown. And that is just because they sort of figured out that the Chinese mafia was funneling money into other mafias that the US didn't consider to be good people. So they stopped encouraging tour directors to take groups into Chinatown for shopping. But of course, we'll go there and you'll get to feel what it feels like. Little Italy is exactly what it is, and it is so special at Christmas time. Look, some of the South Carolina cheerleaders even are there visiting. But anyway, it has old-fashioned decorations hanging up. I was hoping I had the slide, but I don't. But they have the most beautiful old-fashioned Christmas lights hanging across the different stores. They have a lot of beautiful inside the restaurants. They have Christmas balls just hanging down from all the restaurants, and you just got to pop in and get a slice of pizza while you're there. All right, and then this is Times Square. Everybody knows about Times Square, so it's a great place to visit. Great sights to see. You might see the naked cowboy playing his guitar and things like that. And at night, there's nothing like Times Square with all the lights. All right, we'll be going to the Empire State Building. Some New York trips don't include the Empire State Building. It is such a sight to see. I love it. It's beautiful. We'll also go to the Chrysler Building. That used to be one of the tallest buildings in North America. It is far not that now, but it has a great history about the brick building and things. And we'll go to St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is in the middle of New York City. If you ever watch Kelly Ripa, this is where they go to worship. So we'll get a time to have into St. Patrick's Cathedral. It is beautiful. The history, you will love all of that. All right. And then, of course, we'll go to Rockefeller Center. Rockefeller Center is where the Christmas tree is, and so it will be there as well. Has beautiful decorations. If you feel like ice skating, you'll have time there to ice skate, but more than likely, you might not want to ice skate because a lot of people do, but they have great restaurants that overlook the ice skating rink. You can see all the flags, the Christmas decorations, and of course, you can do some shopping while you're there. All right, and then we'll go to Central Park. So Central Park is right in the middle of New York City. It's a beautiful park. So I have some great pictures of Central Park. But one of the neat things that you get to see while you're there for Macy's Day Parade, and you'll have your tour director that will be taking you to this will be the balloon inflation area. So you'll get to see it the day before the parade. You'll be there to see all the different balloons and how they're inflating them, the number of people it takes to make that parade go. So you can see how this all works. All right. And then we'll get to the Macy's Day Parade. One of the things, and you can see some of the pilgrims dressed up here. This is a funny slide to me, but one of the things about Macy's Day Parade is they do not have reserved seating. The only way you can get reserved seating is if you happen to be a Macy's employee, a family member of a Macy's employee, or you're retired from Macy's. So it's a pretty good tribute to those people that have worked at Macy's. It is a wonderful parade. So it only has floats, balloons, bands, and horses. So you can see, of course, this is the turkey that they always have. And the Rockettes always are performing at the Macy's Day Parade. You can see one of the bands here. All right, that's the Oscar Mayer Wiener Hot Dog. And here is your Sound of the South band performing. This might not be at the Macy's Parade, but I made it that way anyway. So, all right. We will get to the Macy's Parade early with your tour director. A lot of people like to bring what I call those tripod golf seats. They have 3 legs. It's almost like a little walking stick, but it has 3 legs and a seat, and you just open it up and you can sit there. And so you'll have time, you'll be able to run to the bathroom at Starbucks or go get you a coffee or things like that. But your hotel's going to be very close, and your tour director knows exactly where they need to take you so that you can get there and make sure that you're going to see. We did send a group 2 years ago because another university's band was playing, and they had asked for a hotel where they could just overlook the parade route and see. But honestly, about 3 months before the tour, they thought, you know what? We cannot hear our band if we're inside the building, just watching it from the lobby. So they changed, and they requested that they actually be on the street because they wanted to be able to see the band. They wanted to be able to hear their people, and they wanted the band to be able to hear them. So that's why we go down early and try to get area. Okay, we'll do the Circle Line cruise, which will take you around the Statue of Liberty. You can also see Manhattan. Okay, and these are guided, and your tour director will be with you, so you're not up here by yourself trying to figure out everything. We'll go under the Brooklyn Bridge. And then that night we will have a Thanksgiving dinner because it will be Thanksgiving. So you and your group will be at a restaurant having a wonderful Thanksgiving meal. The next day, we'll visit the 9/11 Memorial. As you know anything about this area, that is where the 2 towers stood. It is a beautiful, breathtaking, quiet, peaceful, if you can say, area. All of the names of the victims are written around both of these 2 ponds. If it happens to be their birthday, they'll have a flower out there around that person's name. It's a very beautiful memorial to what happened. So these are some of the names. All right, this is the museum. Anything that was put out after the destruction, whether it was a teddy bear, flowers, anything they found, they took all of that stuff and put it in a hangar in New Jersey, knowing that they were going to eventually build something like this. So you will see the most interesting things. This museum will bring tears to your eyes. This is actually a wall that they saved and put inside the museum. It's very quiet in here. It's a wonderful, moving tribute to all that happened. So I get choked up talking about it. So it's a very it's a great museum to go to, even though it will bring you to tears. So, all right, this is the One World Observatory. This is now considered to be one of the tallest buildings in North America. I personally would be standing in the middle. I'm not looking out over the edge here, but if you feel like you want to look at the sky portal, here you go. You can look all the way down. So, it has, I think it's 1,776 feet tall, and that is, of course, for 1776. All right, and then you get to go to Radio City Music Hall, which is a wonderful sight in itself, but to be able to see the Christmas show with the Rockettes is breathtaking. There's nothing like the March of the Soldiers, and so you'll see lots of different things. That's a wonderful show the Rockettes are. So here we are at Times Square. All right, there's Cocky. He's hanging out. You will have some free time. So if you wanted to see a Broadway show, you could do that as well. Okay. We'll return home with wonderful memories. This is everything that's included. All right, so our average temperature, it will be chilly in December, like 50, 43, low 50s it should be. All right, and your rates are $39.99 per person, that's with your booking discount. So it's November 26th through the 30th. On this trip, we do have a child rate. I did not list it here, but it is on the flyer. So if you have a grandchild or a child 12 and under, then you can do the child rate for this trip as well. All right, now we're on to 2025. Woohoo! Can't believe people are already signing up for 2025 trips, but travel is really taking off. So this is called Cuba Discovery, which departs next February the 24th. It is a 6-day trip. We are one of the few companies, we'll fly round trip to Havana, and I'll show you. This is the itinerary map. So we'll do 5 nights at one hotel, the Grand Aston in Havana. We'll have 5 breakfasts, 4 lunches, and 3 dinners. And so these are some of the things that you will learn by going to Cuba. We are one of the only travel companies that, even with all the changes, politically in the US and Cuba, with all of that, with COVID hitting all of that, we kept our license. We have what we call a people-to-people license, and I'll explain that more as we go along. But you'll see a rich, vibrant culture in Cuba, lots of different landscapes. You can see how it goes from one area to the other. Very friendly people. They are very down to earth. You can have a lot of drinks and a lot of cigars if that's what you like to do. All right. We actually get to go to the Cuban cigar factory. Beautiful architect. You can see it here. All right. And so this is why travel with us. So we're one of the top U.S. tour operators since 2012. And so just through the years, we've had more than 4,000 passengers go to Cuba. We have great relationships with our ground partners in Cuba. And so because we have this people to people, it's a very flexible relationship. And what that means is, say you're going to the Cuban cigar factory, then you're going to have guides. You're going to have your tour director with you, which is a English-speaking staff person that meets you at the airport. But you're going to get your tour from a real Cuban cigar factory worker. This is Alan, our Vice President of Sales, arriving in Cuba. This is the airport, and you can see that you would have modern motor coach while you're in Cuba. So this is our English-speaking guide that we would have with us 24/7. This is some of the area that we're going to get to visit. This is one of the oldest cemeteries in Havana. So you'll see this, you'll learn the history. All right. And then this is our hotel where we'll be staying. You can see it looks a little different than the hotel that I showed on the first slide. This is a very modern hotel. So this is Old Havana area. It is a World UNESCO Heritage Site. You're going to learn about Old Havana. You can see all the old cars. Okay, and what the buildings look like, very colorful. And then this is one of the most famous cathedrals you'll get to visit. And then this is the Havana Club Rum Museum. It was a rum club for years and years. It's now made into a museum. You'll learn how they made rum, different things like that. All right, and then this is called the Museum of the Revolution. This is one of those things that you have to do when you go to Cuba. You have to learn about their government and different things like that. It's not intimidating at all. It's very down to earth, but you do want to learn about the history of Cuba so you can see how this goes. So, all right, then this is just some of the areas that will be outside of Havana that you'll get to see. This is where a lot of the local people live. And then this is actually a beautiful little, I sort of call it an art farm, but he does mosaics. And he gives you the whole tour. He wants you to see everything that he's made. He loves to tell you the stories about the goat with the red nose right there. This is so this is sort of explaining about the people to people visa thing that we have. So look how fun these are. All right. So this is one of the art things. And then we'll have dinner that night, and you have leisure time. So you can, of course, take in the Tropicana. You could see some of the shows. Your tour director would, of course, guide you about places to go. You're not going to feel unsafe because they're not going to, let you go to an area that you should not be going to. All right. Day 3, we'll go to the cigar factory. And you can see them here making cigars. You're going to be in the midst of all of that. Here they are doing some hand cutting. She's doing the check of the cigar. You can buy some while you're there. You cannot bring them back to the U.S. You can have them shipped, but you cannot bring them in your luggage. Cuba won't allow that. Can you smoke one while you're there? You can smoke 1 or 2 with them. They're happy to do that. All right. This is, of course, it has a very vibrant dance community. So you'll have time to, they'll be dancing for you one night. Okay. And then this is one of the hotels that we'll get to visit. All right. Look how beautiful it is on the inside. Okay, then you'll learn about the Cuban baseball history. If you know about American baseball, we have a lot of Cuban players that are dynamos. And so you're going to learn about how all of that takes place. All right, and then we'll have dinner at a local platar, which is actually means a family-owned restaurant. And so we'll have dinner there one night. All right, and then this is a valley area. This shows you the different landscape. This is also considered a UNESCO World Heritage Site, right? And so we'll visit all of that. And then we'll go to a farm. This is a tobacco farm. We don't see many of those these days. I grew up in North Carolina and Virginia where we had a lot of tobacco farms. But anyway, they still grow a lot of tobacco in Cuba. So we'll visit that as well as a farmhouse. And you can see here they're wrapping up the tobacco to dry. So this is actually a family-owned restaurant. We will eat here. This will be at the farm. You can see how pretty all the area is. All right, and then we'll, of course, go to the Hemingway house. So here's Ernest Hemingway and one of his cats. Okay, and so this is his original house with a lot of the original furnishings. All right, that's his boat. And then this is El Morro Castle. So we'll learn about the history of this. And then you'll want to go to the market and the art center. This is where everything Cuban is sold. It's not one of those intimidating flea markets at all where they want to trade things with you. Like if you go to the Bahamas, they want to trade. But anyway, so we'll carry on through. This is one of the neatest things about the tour is you do the old style car club. They come, they take you in one of those cars to the restaurant. So you get to ride in one of the old fashioned cars. It's a great car club. They love to tell you all about the cars. All right. And then we'll have our farewell dinner at another family restaurant. We'll return home with wonderful memories. You will have a newfound historical perspective, a newfound cultural understanding, and you'll have a newfound discovery of Cuba. Passports are required. A Cuban visa is required. We cannot include that in the rate. That has to be a separate thing. It's $110. They won't allow us to include that in the rate. So, but as we get closer to the trip, then we would help you set all of that up. I would do that, help you go online. So this is everything that's included. Our people-to-people program includes all of these things as well. This is on your flyer. Your average temperature, you're going to be right down from Miami, will be 81. All right, so your booking discount is $49.75 per person. You'll add your single supplement of $6.50. Moving right along, we're going to sunny San Diego and Southern California highlights. This is actually a new tour this year, and it's definitely a new tour for alumni only dates for next year. So I'm real excited about it. This departs on May the 12th of 2025. We'll fly a round trip into San Diego. Here's your itinerary map. San Diego is probably right now considered one of the best places to go in California. People love to go to San Diego. So we'll have 5 nights at the Embassy Suite in the San Diego Bay Area or the Hilton Garden Inn. Excuse me. We'll do 8 meals, 5 breakfasts, 3 dinners. This is your hotel. Okay, and we'll have a welcome dinner in Old Town San Diego. Old Town San Diego is beautiful. You can see some of the area, and then this is the downtown area. We'll learn all about the Gaslight Quarter, okay, and then we'll go to Point Loma. All right, this is all beautiful area. So, and then this is one of the most famous monuments that you'll get to see while you're there. We'll make a stop at the Heritage Park Victorian Village. They do tea there, lots of restored homes, and then you'll learn about the Coronado Bridge and Island. This does have a bike route on the bridge. It's pretty interesting to know all about how the bridge was made and how many people pass over it every day. And then we'll spend time on Coronado Island. So we'll visit the USS Midway Museum. All right, and then we'll do the San Diego Harbor Cruise. Like I said, San Diego is considered one of the prettiest places in California these days. And then we'll go to the world famous Palm Springs. So Palm Springs has lots of golf courses, lots of famous people, lots of wealthy people, exciting stores. We'll visit the Palm Springs Old Movie Colony. This is where they used to film a lot of the movies. So you'll learn all about that history. This is downtown. You can see some of the famous names of the stores. And then we'll, of course, get to do a wine tasting. Okay, so we'll learn about the wine area, this valley area, and then we'll do the wine tasting. All right, and then we'll go to Balboa Park. Lots of movies have been filmed here. It's a beautiful park. And then you cannot go to San Diego without going to the San Diego Zoo. This is one of the top zoos in the U.S. We have a trolley, so no, you don't have to walk the entire zoo by yourself. But I'm going to show you a lot of the elephants, polar bears, chimpanzees, flamingos. They have every kind of animal you could think of. I'm zipping right through these. All right, and then we'll do the Pacific Surfliner train, which goes right along the coast. You can see what sights you can see here. And then we'll visit the Mission San Juan Capistrano, which is one of the oldest, and it is the largest mission in all of the area. So it's a beautiful area. This is what the inside looks like. It was fully restored like in the 1930s. All right, and then we'll go to the Torrey Pines Golf Course, which is one of the most famous golf courses, and then La Jolla. We'll visit there. So this is where the hottie toddies go. This is everybody with all the money. So you'll get to visit La Jolla Cove. You could do some shopping here, and then we'll have a farewell dinner. We'll fly home with wonderful memories. This is everything that's included. This will be on your flyer as well. I believe all the flyers are on the USC Alumni website. So your average temperature in San Diego in May would be 69. It will be beautiful weather. San Diego is known for its beautiful weather. And your booking discount would be $3,899 per person double. Once again, that includes your round trip airfare, $900 single supplement. So now we're on to Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, which is 6 days. It departs, I believe it's October 8th. I can't really see because our pictures are right there. But anyway, so we will fly round trip into Albuquerque and home from Albuquerque, you can see you could check New Mexico off of your state maps that you can visit. This has 7 meals, 5 breakfast, and 2 dinners. And we will stay at the Albuquerque Marriott, and then for 2 nights, and then 3 nights at the end of the Governor's or the Hilton in Santa Fe. So this is your Albuquerque Marriott. This is the end of the Governor's. This is made to fit right into the thing. So welcome to the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, which is the world's most photographed event in the world, according to Guinness. It started as a advertising for a gas station in Albuquerque. They had 1 balloon, and now it is amazing the number of balloons that they have. So that morning is a very early morning. I like to state that early. Like, you leave the hotel between 5:30 and 6 a.m. on the motor coach, because you want to get there and experience everything that you can. So we will see the Dawn Patrol, and this is actually where they lift the balloons off just as the sun is rising. It is a beautiful sight to behold. You'll be able to walk among the balloonists. You cannot take a balloon ride during the fiesta. They just don't do it. There are too many balloons there and too many people, but you can talk to the balloonist. I work with Georgia Tech Alumni Association, and they actually have a guy that's an alumni that owns a balloon, and he's always there. They love to go and talk to him. He usually gets some volunteers to help. But this is the Dawn Patrol. It was started in 1972, and after the first year, they had like 19 balloons, and now it is the largest balloon fiesta. And you can see how beautiful the Dawn Patrol is. So we actually have a tent for Premier World Discovery travelers. We have seats in there so you can sit down, you can get warm, you can have lemonade and cookies and water and things like that, because this makes for a long day, but you don't want to miss anything. So you can see this is just during the regular daytime. All right. And they have different divisions. You can see Cocky is here visiting some of what they call the extra special balloons. And so they let them release in different categories. I don't know if you remember last year, they had a category of gas-powered balloons, and one of them from Germany and one from France actually went over Myrtle Beach. One of them ended up landing in Wilmington. I think the one from Germany and then one from France ended up like maybe on the Outer Banks. So it won the award for traveling the furthest from Albuquerque, as a gas-powered balloon. So there's a lot of different categories of things you learn about, and every year there's a different theme. So this is called Mass Ascension. You'll be here for this. This is when all the balloons take off. It's a beautiful sight. All right. And then we'll leave that and we'll go do the Albuquerque City Tour, which is New Mexico's largest city. And it has over 900,000 residents, but it also enjoys 310 sunny days a year. We're going to be going to the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, and this is basically the gateway to the 19 pueblos of New Mexico. You're going to be able to see them making jewelry. They'll be making clothing. They'll be doing dances, all of that. Sometimes the children are there, sometimes they're not, but it's really an interesting, great museum to go to. We'll have time in Old Town Albuquerque, which has lots of adobe buildings, lots of old houses. You can enjoy eating some delicious Mexican food here. You'll see people selling jewelry, and then just shows you some of the adobe building here. So these are some of the Old Town shops. We'll visit the San Felipe de Neri Church, which is the heart of the community. It's over 300 years old. You can go sit in here. It's a beautiful Catholic church. We'll go to Bandelier National Monument, which is 33,000 acres, and it has amazing cave dwellings. So you'll learn all about these cave dwellings and how they're being preserved. We'll make a stop at the Los Alamos Bradbury Science Museum, which opened in 1953. This is actually the birthplace of the atomic bomb, so you'll learn a lot of that good history. And then we're on to Santa Fe. So Santa Fe is the oldest government seat in all of the U.S. It has the oldest church. It has the oldest house, and it also enjoys 310 daylight sunny days. So we'll take the high road to Taos. If you've ever done this trip, That is a very depressing road. I mean, you're going to see things that you just didn't imagine still existed in the US, but you certainly want to make this trip. So we stop at Chamorro, which is a church just in the hills of the area on the road to Taos, but it's known as having the healing power. I have some of this dirt right here on my desk. You'll see pictures of people that have put down their crutches and people who've been healed. They say that the dirt has all of these healing powers. So then we're on to Taos, where we'll do a city tour. And then this is the plaza area, so you'll have time here. And then we're actually going to go to the Native American reservation that has been in existence for over 1,000 years. And so you're going to, your guides here on the reservation are usually local teenagers that grew up on the reservation and now have moved outside of the reservation, but they still love the area. And you have to remember, so there's shops here, but there are no running water, no electricity at all on any of the reservation. COVID really did a bad number on the people that live here, but they have been open the last 3 years, so people can still go here. I mean, they'll be baking bread. You can purchase that, but it is the only living Native American community that's both a World Heritage Site by UNESCO and a National Landmark. So these are some of the adobe buildings, some of the shops, and then this is just a beautiful picture of the cemetery. You can see that there's some modern tombstones as well as the older ones. You'll learn different ones. And then this is the original church on the reservation. I mean, it's been renovated, but it originally started in 1598. So you'll be able to go in there. We'll do a Santa Fe city tour. And you know, the real question in Santa Fe, is it red or it's green? It doesn't refer to Christmas. That's all about the chili peppers. All right, so this marks the end of the Santa Fe Trail. You'll get to see this. We'll go to the plaza area, and then we'll go to the Laredo Chapel, which is one of my most favorite places to go. So it was completed in 1878, has the mysterious staircase. I won't take time and tell you that. If you want to look it up, it's a great story, but you'll learn it while you're on this trip. It's made of Italian wood. Where it came from in Santa Fe, nobody knows. All right, this is Palace of the Governors. This used to be where all the political stuff took place, and now this is where all the Native Americans really sell their homemade wares. So you want to have time in Santa Fe on your own. I got to hurry all through this, but there are lots of different museums that you can visit. You can go to the Cathedral Basilica. I highly recommend the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum. It's well worth the money. It's a wonderful museum, and there's different things. So, all right, this is everything that's included. Okay, it's coming up. This is on your flyer. Your average temperature, Albuquerque 72, Santa Fe will be 68, and your booking discount is $39.75 per person. We're on to Mackinac Island. I just have this trip and one more, so I'm going to hurry. I love Mackinac Island. It is one of my most favorite places in all of the U.S. to visit. This is Mackinac Island, the Grand Hotel in Niagara Falls. This is new to our alumni only dates, so you depart October the 10th. So you've got to decide whether it's Albuquerque this year or Mackinac because they are close. Well, I'm flying to Detroit and home from Buffalo. You can see we'll be doing Michigan. And then we'll be going to Niagara Falls. So we are going on the Canadian side. You're going to need your passport. We'll do 2 nights in Dearborn, Michigan, 2 nights at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, 1 night in Frankenmuth, and 2 nights in Niagara Falls. 12 meals are included. All right, we'll arrive in Detroit, where we'll visit Dearborn, Michigan. That's where we'll be staying the night. Dearborn is home to Henry Ford. Okay. Here's our DoubleTree Hotel. So we actually get to visit the Ford factory and village, which was built in 1917. And, you know, Henry Ford's vision was to achieve a continuous nonstop process from raw material to finish. So you're going to get to see that. You will tour the River Rouge Ford plant, and then we'll go to Henry Ford's Greenfield Village, which is over 80 acres. All right. He course, has a car museum. You can't think of Henry Ford without that. There's over 100 vehicles, lots of touchscreen interactive things that you'll get to see. And then you'll experience firsthand what it was like a long time ago to be in this area. So, and you can even ride in a Model T car while you're there. We'll have a welcome dinner, and then we'll take our Mackinac Island ferry ride. That's the only way to get to the island unless you're driving across the bridge. It is a 5-mile long bridge, opened in 1957. They have a great museum about how they built this bridge. It's a great story. You can buy a book about it. It's interesting. Most people don't know that Mackinac Island is actually a state park. Well, 80% of the island is a state park. The rest is really what you see right here. Okay. So this is a beautiful view. And then this is actually the downtown Mackinac Island, which was once a prize port for fur trade. There are no vehicles on the island, except now there are fire trucks. But you're either on foot, bicycle, or horse. So there are no vehicles on the island. We're going to spend 2 nights at the Grand Hotel. It opened in 1887 as the summer retreat for all those people from Chicago, rail passengers from everywhere. Very exclusive. It is known in the Guinness Book of World Records as having the longest front porch. Okay. So it has a 600-foot front porch known as Flirtation Walk. This is where all the ladies sat with their dresses, and they like to try to get a man as he walked by. So they called it Flirtation porch. This is the stables, so you'll see all of that. They actually take the horses off during the winter because the island is completely shut down. I've been in spring and I've been in fall where the flowers are in full bloom. It is clean. It's the most beautiful place ever. And then going into the Grand Hotel is like a step back in time. So, the more colors they had back then, that was just meant more money. So it looks just like that. There's a lot of pink and green. There's pictures of the Grand Hotel. You're enjoying a drink out there. This is actually your breakfast buffet at the hotel. It's beautiful. Here's your main dining room. It does overlook the water. It's a lovely area. And then this is one of 2 trips that there is a dress code. Like at night, you can't wear shorts and things like that in the restaurant, but that's all listed on your paperwork. No jeans, but I would go over all of that with you. All right. So Esther Williams did her first swim movie here at this pool. It's still in operation. Ice cream parlor. You can play golf here. And as I like to say, you need to bring your eye covers because the rooms are very bright, full of color. They're wonderful places to go, really. So we'll do a carriage tour, which will take us all over the island. So it will take us to the West Bluff Victorian homes. You'll learn the history about those and who used to live there and who lives there now and things like that. Okay, this is downtown. It's a beautiful area. And then we're on to Frankenmuth. So Frankenmuth is a little German town. You can see the buildings. Lots of flowers here as well. And then Frankenmuth, this is a little area, is known for Bronner's Christmas World, which is open 361 days of year. It's been open since 1945. You can order any and everything, big, little, small, huge, from Bronner's. So you'll have time here to visit. They do make hand-blown glass ornaments. They are the largest producer of hand-blown glass ornaments, and we'll be staying at the Drury Inn and Suites while we're there. And then we're on to Niagara Falls. So Niagara Falls has water from 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. And so there's 3 different falls: Bridal Veil, Horseshoe Falls, and the American Falls. All right. And then this is my little trivia I love about Niagara Falls, that white foam from the pressure of the water actually cushions the fish as they go over the falls. And so it protects their life. But you're going to see the IMAX movie theater movie Niagara Miracles, Myths, and Magic, all about the people that have tried to go over the falls, those that survived, those that didn't, those that had crazy ideas. We'll do the journey behind the falls. You don't even have to remember your own raincoat. They supply you with one of those. We do stay at Marriott on the falls, which overlooks the falls, so you can see it at night with all the lights. It is beautiful. This is the Niagara Falls Scenic Parkway we'll take. We will go to the hydrofloral clock. If you know anything about hydrofloral clocks, they're supposed to have flowers planted that bloom at whatever time it is. It's a really neat history. This is the Great Gorge Riverwalk. We'll do the Butterfly Conservatory, where they have over 2,000 species of butterflies. And then this is one of the prettiest areas ever. It's called Niagara on the Lake Village. It's in southern Ontario. It sits at the mouth of the Niagara River. Look how beautiful it is. And this is what it looks like anytime I've ever been. They have the most delicious ice wine. You can learn the history about ice wine and all of that while you're at Niagara Falls. We'll also go to the locks, the Wayland Ship Canal. You'll see the locks of the big ships that go from US to Canada. We'll go to Skyline Tower, which is 775 feet tall, and we will have dinner there. So this is a turning tower. So that's your one of your dinners. We'll do Goat Island, and then you cannot go to Niagara Falls and not do the Maid of the Mist cruise, which is over 150 years old. They supply you with your raincoat. You're going to go right by the falls. So there's always a rainbow there. It's beautiful. We return home with wonderful memories. Like I said before, passports are required because we are going to Canada. This is everything that's included. In October, the weather is in the 50s, Niagara Falls 58. It shuts down at the end of October, Mackinac Island does. So we're at the end. We depart on October the 10th. Your booking discount rate is $43.75. If you're going as a single, you're going to add $900. And I'm on the last tour. Am I right, Haven? Okay. All right. So we'll do Montreal and Quebec City Christmas markets. Haven actually went on this trip 3 years ago, I believe, when we first started working. We had just started this tour, and COVID had really taken a toll on Canada. So they struggled to get things really back open. We actually have added, and I didn't change it. It's now a 6-day tour. So you spend 2 nights in Montreal and 3 nights in Quebec City, which everybody wanted to do. So it departs on December the 3rd of 2025. We'll fly round trip into Montreal. All right, and you can see the itinerary map here. So we do 2 nights at the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth and 3 nights at the Fairmont Hotel Frontenac. So Fairmont hotels were built by the Canadian Railroad. They've all been restored. They're beautiful. Hotel Frontenac, when we get there, I'm going to tell you some trivia about it. So we have 6 meals, 4 breakfasts, 2 dinners. We'll arrive in Montreal. So Montreal is a French-Canadian city. It has lots of outdoor activities. It has, in North America, it has the second most restaurants next to New York City. So it has a lot going on. This is Montreal Harbor. And then this is the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth Hotel. I like to say both of these hotels have bee aviaries on top. And so they have a person that tends to the bees. They use the honey and all of that in the hotel cooking. So it's a wonderful hotel. The Queen Elizabeth did stay here. That's where it got its name, but you can see how pretty it is. So we'll do a Montreal city tour. And so Montreal is actually Quebec's most popular city. This is Notre Dame. And this is beautiful. It's known for its acoustics. You can walk in here. I don't think Haven could walk when she went before because it was still shut down for COVID. This is where Celine Dion got married. The inside is just beautiful. It has blue stained glass everywhere. This is where she got married. This is where they buried her husband. This is St. Joseph's Oratory, which is the largest church in all of Canada. You will see people doing pilgrimages. They'll be walking up the steps. It's quite a sight. And then this is the most famous square, the most famous neighborhood in all of Montreal. You can see how pretty it looks at Christmas. All right, and then we'll make a stop at McGill University. So McGill University is known for a couple of things. It was a medical school for a long time. They say a lot of the buildings are haunted because they had cadavers down in the basement area. But also the athletic director is the person that invented the game of basketball. So that's your trivia. He used to work at the YMCA as well. So this is Mount Royal. This is a view. A lot of Montreal workers take their lunch break and hike up to Mount Royal and eat lunch up there. That's actually what Montreal is named for. This is the underground city or the RESO. There are, I believe it's 20 mile. Anyway, this is a huge area, lots of stores. They have over 900,000 visitors a day because it's heated and air conditioned. So people love to go through here. It connects to the universities, all of that. But we'll do the Montreal City tour. So we'll visit Christmas markets. Montreal has their own German Christmas markets. And then this is what we call Old Town Montreal. You can see how pretty it is. That night we'll have a welcome dinner. We drink a lot of wine. You can see those people do. And then the next day we'll board the Rail Canada to Quebec City. It's about a 3-hour train ride from Montreal to Quebec City. And we'll arrive in Quebec City, and this is what it looks like. So this is the largest city in Quebec. They do speak a lot of French. It is the third oldest city on the continent. This is Hotel Frontenac. If you recognize it, it is the castle in Harry Potter. That's why most young people would recognize this. But it is the most photographed hotel in the world. So we've seen a lot of things from Guinness Book of World Records, but this one is the most photographed. This is the inside. They have a hall of trees at Christmas that are beautiful. We'll go to the Albert Giles Copper Museum. And so he did a lot of embossing for Walt Disney, different popes, different churches. You'll actually get to see them, how they tap out some of the copper stuff. We'll go to Montmorency Falls, which is actually higher than Niagara Falls. So, and it goes into the St. Lawrence River. A lot of times when you get to visit, it is frozen, so you can see how pretty it is. We'll do the Quebec City tour. Quebec City is a walled city. And so this is part of the original wall. We'll make a stop at the Citadel. Okay. And so the Citadel actually is the largest British built fortress in North America. Took them over 30 years to build this area. It is still home to the Royal Canadian Armed Forces. All right, and then this is the Plains of Abraham, which is from the 7-Year War. A lot of outside activities take place here now, so you'll see things going on. We'll do the Quebec City tour. So this is Old Town Quebec. Look how beautiful it is. And then this area, this Quartier Petit Champlain, I think is actually, this is considered one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in all of North America. Okay, and you can see there is snow. Quebec City is a lot colder than Montreal, and they have their own Christmas markets. So they always have mulled wine you can drink and hot chocolate and different things like that. So it's a beautiful, beautiful Christmas markets. Okay, they have singers singing and things, and there we are drinking some more wine. We'll return home with wonderful memories. So this is everything that's included. Okay, your average temperature is cold. As I told Haven when she came back, it's a different kind of cold than what we have in South Carolina. So you do have to be prepared for it. It does depart on December the 3rd of next year. I will be honest, this trip sells out every year. Everybody wants to stay at these 2 Fairmont hotels. And it's basically a Christmas market without having to go over the ocean. So if you're at all interested in this trip, you should book this as soon as you can, okay? Our booking discount is $4,099 with a single supplement of $1,055. This is about the booking discount. So it's $400 deposit for domestic, $600 for international, which would be, this is how you sign up. This would be on your brochure. You can mail it in, you can call it, you can go online. We offer travel protection insurance, and that pricing is listed on your flyer as well. Just by next year, you've got to have your real ID to fly. And then if you travel with us and you have been on a trip this year, then we automatically give you $100 off per person for your next trip as well. All right. Did we have any questions?
Yeah, if anyone has questions, feel free to type those into the chat or the Q&A. Thank you, Laura. That was great. We obviously have a lot of really good trips coming up
Yes.
with Premier World Discovery. I have put our Alumni Association travel link in this chat. So you guys can see all of our 2024 trips on there. 2025 will be up very soon. And so you guys have my email as well if you have any additional questions about this. We'll be sending the recording out as well, so you can go back to look at these. But like Laura said, I went on that Montreal and Quebec City Christmas markets tour in 2022. And I mean, that hotel, especially in Quebec City, just the most beautiful hotel I've ever been in. It was so magical. It was snowing when I was
Yep.
there. Really, really fun for Christmas time. So would definitely recommend that. But just a reminder, if you want to type questions in, if you have any, and while you guys are doing that, I want to do our drawing because I know we're a bit over on time. I want
Yes,
to
I'm
make
sorry.
sure, no, that's okay. That means there's lots of great trips, but I
Okay.
want to make sure we get our winners before people have to be off to their next thing of the day. So Premier World Discovery has so generously offered two $100 vouchers for booking your trip with them. And so I've got y'all's names in this bowl. We're just going to draw two winners for today. The first winner is Susan. Congratulations. And then our next winner is Nancy. Congratulations. So we will be in contact with you guys about your vouchers for your booking discounts, and be sending out a follow-up with this recording for everybody else. But thank you all so much for coming today. We'll stay on another minute or two if you have any questions. And thank you again, Laura, for your
Thank,
presentation.
thank you for having me and working with Premier World Discovery.